Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Ron, and today we will be transplanting my Pilea Peperomioides. So I am slowly making my way through my list of things to do with my plants in terms of plant chores. And I had just transplanted my Monstera albo, which was also long overdue. But today I'm going to be transferring my top half of the Pilea Peperomioides that I chopped in half. And I will show you the progress of the growth on the mother plant as well. It's kind of exciting. And then potting that up into a cute little pot that I just got. So, well, that kind of rhymed, didn't it? So if you are just tuning into my channel, I decided to propagate my Pilea because it wasn't doing the best at all. It was still growing, but the new growth sometimes would shoot out baby leaves that would never really fill out. That and the fact that it has never pushed out pups. So I just want to be a Pilea pup dad. To kind of reset the plant, I decided to cut it in half. I will put a link to that video up here, and you will see that there are absolutely no pups in the pot. So to kind of promote pups, I decided to cut it in half and propagate the top half while still kind of taking care of the bottom half, because it's not a dead plant. It has a really healthy root system. Just didn't produce any pups. So I think it's been sitting in water for about 4 to 5 weeks, and there is just a lot of roots in there in the glass that I put it in. I think the last video that I featured the plant in was my houseplant tour, which I did like a week before I went to Hawaii. And then I was in Hawaii for 2 weeks, and I've been back for 3 weeks. So that's a total of 5 or so weeks of it propagating in water. There is a lot of growth. So let me show you where she is residing right now, and then we'll get into the potting up. Okay, so here is my plant shelf. That is the Monstera albo that I just repotted. If you want to check that out, I'll put the link to the video right up here. But the Pilea is right up here, and she sits right below this grow light. And look at all of the growth. And all of the leaves are coming out nice and plump. These are still the older leaves that have never really flattened out. They just sort of stayed in that wrinkly shape. Here is where you can start to see some of the baby leaves that it has been pushing out, which was a sign that it wasn't really doing the best. But all the leaves after those leaves are looking nice and big and succulent, supple, all of that good stuff. So this is where she lives. I'll show you a closer look in just a second, but let me show you the mother plant. She is living right next to my humidifier right here, next to the Adansonii, which, yes, these are yellow leaves. And yes, it is root bound. And yes, this is the next thing that I'm going to be taking care of, because I believe it's yellowing because there are roots sticking out of the bottom of the pot. So stay tuned for that video. It's going to come out probably right after this video. So anyway, here is the mother plant. Ta-da! This is so exciting. Where do I even begin? Just look at all of that growth. So there is a total of, let's count together here. 1, 2, 3. Swing it around. 4, 5. I believe there is a total of 5 pups that are currently coming out of the mother plant. And then we still have these original leaves, which over time have kind of drooped more and more. So I know these will eventually fall off, which is fine. It's just hanging on to provide a little bit more energy for the plant. So this is really, really cool. I've never really seen this in person. This leaf right here has a little tear, but all of the other leaves look pretty healthy to me. They're also cute. So I'm just gonna let this plant be for a little while longer until it's time to actually separate those individual pups into their own pots. And stay tuned for that video. It might be a challenge. I might have to propagate it first before putting it into a pot, right? So that it can develop roots. Yeah, so those are kind of the progress updates of the mother plant and the top cutting. But let me show you the closer look so that we can actually start getting into the repotting. I'm going to show you the soil mix that I'm going to be using and the cute little pot that I'm going to be using. And we'll get to see what the final result looks like. So since we are talking all things Pilea here, I just thought I'd share this one as an update. If you guys remember, I talked about this one. This one was from a friend of mine who gave this plant to me to revive. There were originally 3 leaves, one of which had fallen off, but now as we can see, there is a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 of which are just busting right there. So this one is doing really, really good. It sits right here next to my south-facing window. And I really just water it when this feels super, super light. And then I forget about it. It dries up within like a week, and then I will just water it again. So this is like doing really, really good. But I'm waiting for it to grow a couple of more inches before I give it back to my friend. So let me just put her back right there. You just keep on keeping on. All right, welcome to the closer look. So this is the jar that I had placed it in. And I probably have only switched out the water no more than 5 times. I was kind of being lazy. All I did was just continue to add water until the water covered the roots. But we can see that there's still healthy roots in there, and the water still looks pretty clear. So let me just pull it out and then show you all of those roots. That's crazy. Look at that. Now the root system on Pileas, they seem to be kind of on the fine side. They look very fine. They're not like thick roots like your aeroids, but there is just a ton of, what do you call these? Aerial roots? Root nodes, is that a thing? All along the stem here, and which is interesting because you would think new leaves or new pups would come out of the leaf nodes all along here where I had removed some of the leaves, but that's not the case. So I know it's pushing all of the energy into the top right here, which is what I want anyway. Take a quick second to just look at all of that. It's so lush up here, so full, so pretty, and I can't wait to put in the pot. So let me show you the pot and the type of soil mixture that I'm going to be creating. Okay, so this is the pot that I'll be using. It has polka dots, and I think it's so fitting because they resemble the circular leaves on the Pilea. So I think this is going to look really cute. This is a 6-inch terracotta pot, and I know it's going to wick away moisture like no tomorrow, okay? Because I have 4-inch terracotta pots that completely dry out within 2 days. So to kind of balance things out, I'm going to be creating a mixture that is a little bit more moisture retaining. I usually add in some orchid bark and leca balls and coca coir to kind of make things a little bit more chunky. But I'm gonna use a little bit less of the orchid bark and more of the potting soil, and hope that it will provide enough moisture for the plant for a long period of time, because like I said, this will dry it out really quickly. So let me start mixing the soil. We have some potting soil. This one is from Star Nursery. It is their Filthy Rich Gold potting soil from Dr. Q's. And then some coca coir, worm castings, a tiny bit of orchid bark. We'll see how that turns out. I might have to add just a little bit more. And some charcoal. So as you can see, I'm not adding more perlite or leca balls because I do want it to be more moisture retaining because it is a terracotta pot. So let's quickly mix this up, and again, crossing my fingers that I made enough. Okay, so now let me bring the pot. That's enough soil, right? Then let me find good size orchid bark here to cover the drain hole. I think that'll work. And then let's add our first layer. Something like that. And then let's bring the cutting. So there is a number of roots right up here. I'm gonna try to align the soil with the topmost root growth because we don't want to expose any of those roots. But also, I think I'm gonna remove some of these leaves as well because they will eventually fall off. And these are the older leaves anyway, and they're just not cute. Just like that. Okay, you might be thinking I could probably propagate these, but I find that propagating leaves that kind of look like this, where they're kind of wrinkly, don't really work. So I recommend only propagating healthy leaves and fully mature healthy leaves, because I've done that before with no success. So anyway, just like that, and then backfill. This should be pretty easy to do. Would you look at that? I think I made just the right amount of soil. Also, as a tip on how high the soil needs to be, I recommend going up until you have about a quarter to a half an inch of pot at the rim here. Let me just show you. So this is about half an inch from the top of the soil to the top of the pot. And I find that if you leave that amount of space, so over time when you are watering your plant, it will become a little bit hydrophobic on the top layer of the soil. And so when you're pouring water in, the water will just sit at the top, right? And I find that if you have a quarter inch of gap right here, and then you add water to the top, that's just about the right amount of soil for the entire pot. If it's more than half an inch of gap and you fill the water up to the top, you will find that your water will kind of overflow through the drainage hole. So that's just a little tip that I have for you guys. So now let's just pour the remaining soil in here. Cool. And of course, we cannot forget our signature tap. Then kind of press that in a little bit. Right there. Finally, I've done this. What do you guys think? She cute, right? She cute. Now I'm going to be watering the plant, and I will be adding Dr. Q's plant tonic, which is available at Star Nursery, and it's similar to Super Thrive. And as you can see on the label here, prevents transplant shock. So we are going to bet all of our savings on this and hope that the plant will not show signs of stress. So let me add, I have a ton of water in here. We are going to improvise. So this is the old water. I'll just pour that out because I'm too lazy to go to the sink. And I'm going to use this as my watering can. Oh, let me put in the Dr. Q's first. Probably like 5 drops. That was a little bit more than 5 drops, but that's okay. I don't think you can ever put too much in your water. And then let me just do it over this bucket just in case. I think that was the perfect amount. So let's see if that drains right through. You can see some of the air bubbles starting to develop. Yeah, that was actually kind of a good amount of water because now it's draining through like that. But I'm going to be adding a little bit more just to make sure everything is saturated, because it looks like water just kind of seeped right in the middle. So adding extra water will ensure that all of the soil is saturated, because you don't want parts of the soil to be dry. And I just kind of like tilt the pot just like so. Just like that. Nice. So now hopefully she just takes off from here. You can kind of see she's starting to kind of do a little dance move. She's like going like this. So I probably have to add in a stake at some point. Probably when she reaches a few more inches in height. And then I'll probably add a stake, because as you can see, she's kind of wobbling. But yeah, that is the transplant of my Pilea Peperomioides. Well, that is it for today's video, guys. I hope you guys found it enjoyable and helpful. If you did, please do hit the thumbs up. And if you haven't yet already, plant scribe. We are going to continue to watch this plant grow. It's looking really nice. It has successfully reset, and I'm very, very happy with how it turned out. Also very, very happy with how this one turned out, because there are just multiple pups on there. I'm gonna have to transfer these somehow into probably my propagation box, which I'm gonna be starting pretty soon. And I'll keep saying that, huh? But that's gonna be in a propagation box so that they can push out new roots before being transplanted into soil in their new home. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you. Oh, that was a weird wave. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you guys for all of the support. You guys are awesome. Keep the comments coming. I like interacting with you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.